Hello, race fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Smoke Show. The month of May came to a close last weekend with the greatest day in motorsports. Lewis Hamilton, to no surprise, took the checkered flag in Monaco, while Simon Pagenaud finally captured his first Indy 500 win after an amazing battle with Alexander Rossi. Then, closing up the day, Martin Truex Jr. held off his greatest rival, Joey Logano, to capture a second Coca-Cola 600 win. So let's get started with our Monaco reviews. So, Orca Flop, what were your thoughts on the Monaco race?
I thought the Monaco race was a better Monaco race than we've usually seen in the past. I think we've seen drivers really show their capabilities and what they had. And overall, the race was very entertaining to watch because you had some interesting pit strategy in the back of the field with the Toro Rossos and the McLarens. And then you had guys like Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel who were actually able to put up a fight with Mercedes. For the first time this year, Red Bull and Ferrari were able to put up a great fight to Mercedes, as both Vettel and Verstappen got by Valtteri Bottas and showed that they had the race pace to keep up with Mercedes. And they proved their will, and they were able to show that they had the same pace. And throughout the last 50 laps, Max Verstappen was right on Lewis Hamilton. But unfortunately, with the collision he made with Valtteri Bottas on pit road, that cost him a 5-second time penalty, and he ended up finishing fourth, 5 seconds back. And Sebastian Vettel was the one to split up the Mercedes, as he would finish second, and Valtteri Bottas would get on the podium in third. So for the first time this year, finally Mercedes didn't get 1-2, but Hamilton still won. But I guess the positive thing you can take away is that it seems like now Ferrari and Red Bull have shown to have the pace against the Ferraris. Poor Charles Leclerc for his home Grand Prix had a terrible day. Had a puncture trying to make his way through the field because it's ridiculous how hard it is to pass in Monaco. It's too tight, and I think maybe they should change it to circuit. That's just my idea and personal perspective. But it really, for an by F1 standards, it could have been a mediocre race at best. But I think when you look at the overall perspective, with this season specifically is gone, I genuinely think this was a good race, and it was awesome to see Max Verstappen send it in out of the tunnel on Lewis Hamilton. I thought he was going to get him. I was hoping he would, but unfortunately he didn't. But overall, it was a solid race. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'm really glad to see that Red Bull and Ferrari have finally found their ways of getting up to Mercedes. And now I think Lewis Hamilton's going to have to fight for a little more than he had to in the past. So I give the race an 8 out of 10. Damn it, I wish Verstappen did not get that time penalty, though.
Yeah. So, the Monaco Grand Prix was this past weekend. And honestly, going into the race, I thought it was going to be pretty boring. But actually looking at the race, because, okay, you see, here's the deal. I have a really kind of hard time waking up just to watch F1 races. Really, for me, like for you guys, it's probably waking up to eat breakfast or something. For me, it's like waking up to go to school or something. But I mean, yeah, overall, the race was it was actually good. Like, I mean, especially those last, few laps where Verstappen was trying so hard, to run down Hamilton and trying to pass him. It really did look like throughout the whole entire final run, all the way to the checkered flag, was the hairpin corner. That really tight hairpin corner. That was Verstappen's best opportunity where he could pass Hamilton. But then again, just, I mean, taking away from this really cool battle, the frustrating thing was just that it's really hard to pass on Monaco. So, I mean, yeah, but still, it was a pretty good, battle and stuff like that. Now, obviously, there was a lot of controversy going on with, Verstappen's time penalty, which, if you guys didn't know, he collided with Valtteri Bottas on pit road, and the stewards gave him a penalty for somewhat of avoidable contact. But I mean, I mean, that kind of started, I don't know, like controversy, because usually when you really think about it, it's usually the stewards, when it comes to Formula One, aren't really consistent with their calls and stuff like that. I mean, like, I've seen its true ugly colors, I mean, a lot of times, but I mean, it's not really a surprise. But I mean, yeah. So once again, Lewis Hamilton wins, but I would have to kind of say this wasn't a race where he straight out like dominated. I mean, he had, I think, the worst tires throughout the race because I believe he had the soft tire, and it speaks for itself what the soft tire does and shit like that. So I mean, yeah, I could really tell that. I feel like if maybe if there were a couple more laps and if Monaco was a good fucking track, then Verstappen could have passed Hamilton, and I feel like Verstappen could have won it and stuff like that. But one of the few things I was fairly impressed throughout the race was that Ferrari was showing some pace. And they can maybe show up with it. What they could maybe show up. I mean, I still really don't like some of the things that they did so far throughout this early part of the season. But hey, this is a good step forward, and hopefully when we head off to Canada, they can challenge for the win because last year, Sebastian Vettel absolutely dominated the Canadian Grand Prix. So overall, I would have to give, just this race, the Monaco Grand Prix, a solid, it's a B plus or B minus, I would have to say, for itself. I will mention one thing. Shout out to Carlos Sainz for finishing, sixth. I guess McLaren did race in this 3-day, three race day, and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, shout out to him. He really drove a really good race. Almost pretty much all the drivers ran a pretty good damn race. Sucks for Charles Leclerc, but only time will tell if Ferrari can challenge. And I still firmly believe that they can. That's about it with Monaco.
Well, I think when you look in terms of Ferrari and their pace towards Mercedes, I think what Ferrari needs to work on right now, I think, is getting a better engine. Because right now, the engine that they're using right now has not been able to. It's been fast on the straightaways and overall speed, but it's not capable of the endurance and durability that it takes to run a full F1 race. On the initial start, I think you look at Spain. You saw Sebastian Vettel get a great jump on Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, but he couldn't execute. And the Ferraris continue to be terrible over the long run because their engines are mainly trimmed out for the short run. So I think it's the engines that Ferrari needs to work on. If maybe they can get that turbocharger set up better and maybe create some more boost, but not have too much boost to the point where they're gonna blow their engines. Kind of what happened to Leclerc at Bahrain. Ferrari's got many issues going on for them right now, and I think that's part of the reason why Mercedes has been so good this season. But then again, you saw what Verstappen did towards Lewis Hamilton in Monaco, and I think I look at that and be like, man, Red Bull's got speed. I think actually Red Bull might be faster than Ferrari this year, and maybe if Gasly could find some talent for once, maybe Gasly would be up there contending with Max Verstappen. And I just hope that someone can really contend Mercedes, and that's what made Monaco so good because you actually were able to see more passes than I think you've usually seen, especially regarding Charles Leclerc at the beginning of the race, making those aggressive moves on Romain Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg. But it ended up costing him a puncture, and he ended up getting out of his home Grand Prix, which was really unfortunate because I think if Leclerc was able to get up there, I think he would have been faster than Vettel. But knowing Ferrari, they just would have said, oh, Vettel, you move over, or Leclerc, move over for Vettel. So it's good, though, to see that Ferrari had some pace, but I don't think they're up to the point of completely contending for wins. And I highly think that Red Bull has got this Honda engine figured out, and Honda continues to improve their engines every single week. In fact, I read an article recently where Red Bull is getting a transmission upgrade from Honda, so that could mean better jumps for them on the restart. And you know how Max Verstappen is on restarts and the initial start. So if they can get that transmission upgrade going in, I think Honda can provide something really good for Red Bull, and they'll be able to continue to contend with Mercedes as the season goes on. And here joins the biggest Simon Pageant fan I know.
Winner!
Hey!
Cheers, man. Oh, my God.
Sorry, I had to make a grand introduction. Holy crap! Finally! How many years been Speedway?
The Frenchman did it.
Oh my God! Thank the Lord. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. I said the moment I walked in the Speedway Sunday morning, I said Pagano is going to win today. And for once, my freaking gut was right.
It's about time he wins one.
Oh my God! Listen, not to discredit Rossi, he deserves a second 500. He put on a hell of a show. He made me nervous as hell those last few laps.
Oh, you should have seen Rowdy at those last 2 laps. He was distraught.
No.
You should have seen me. I was screaming at the
My
TV.
voice was gone when he crossed the line. I almost started tearing up.
Dude, I knew you and Brian were literally. I knew you two were up in the clouds when he won. I was like, oh man. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, you two were the first ones I thought of when Pagano crossed the line. Like, I was happy he won. Pagano's the type of guy you want to win the 500. And I'm glad he finally won one. And I immediately thought of you two. I was like, oh, Brian and Rob are probably losing it right now.
I tell you what, that's so many stories. This literally was the perfect month of May. Everything that happened was perfect. On the track, off the track, in the garage, signatures, diecast, you name it. Everything was perfect. Everything about this month was just picture perfect. And it all started on qualifying day. We knew Pagano was fast off the gate. I mean, he showed up and he whooped the competition's ass.
I had a lot of confidence in those Ed Carpenter cars. I thought Carpenter was going to get it done.
I was surprised that Ed Jones did so badly during the race. I mean, he put on a hell of a job qualifying.
Ed Jones is awful. You give him... Come on. Ed Jones is awful. At one point, Pippa Man could probably run better in Ed Carpenter racing equipment.
Listen, I think Marco now should really consider other careers in race besides racing. I mean, no offense to him, but this performance was just absolutely dreadful. And the quote of the night was last night, you should reconsider your racing career when you say, hey, do I have enough to pass Pippa Man?
That scheme was an embarrassment to his father.
I mean, no, I love Marco. I mean, Marco is such a nice guy. I met him so many times in the garage area, just a mellow and chill guy. But the whole racing deal just isn't cut out for him.
I think Marco should run for WEC, see if he can get a spot at Rebellion. Well, I think Rebellion's already got a full lineup for the Le Mans this year, but maybe I think Marco should do some sports car racing. That's how I think he should go, because honestly, his career, ever since he lost in 06 to Hornish in the 500, it's just kind of been a downward spiral.
I know. Like that.
If I may interject on the 500, everyone's talking about Pagano. And oh crap, I'm sorry. Sebastian Bourdais and how he won his first. Congrats to him. And how Rossi lost it, possibly because of Oreo Servia. Not going to touch on that though. But I was really pulling for Takuma Sato. I know he's won one already, but think about it. During the race, during most of the race, he wasn't contending. He was out of the top 10. All of a sudden, on the final restart, he's 5th, and then he gets up to 3rd. And pretty much all of you, especially Orca and Rowdy, heard me saying all the time, yes, Takuma Sato, yeah. And then I was just waiting for something to happen. But congrats to Bourdais, and maybe we'll get him next year.
Yeah, Rob, I was going to text you on Instagram when I first saw this, but NRF picks Marco to win.
Well, he wasn't a bad pick the morning of because, all during qualifying, he was fast. He could put that car in the Fast 9. He just completely missed the race setup. I don't know what happened, but that team dropped the ball.
It's bad when Pippa's outpacing you in a very small team.
I was shocked that she made the race. I mean, I said with confidence she was going to fail to qualify, and here we are. She out-qualified Fernando. I mean, did you read the Associated Press article of every mistake that team made?
Yeah.
Rob, we talked all about it last podcast. Last week we were bashing Alonso to the ground.
I wasn't on the last podcast, I think, because it was a Tuesday. I was meeting Bobby Unser at a jewelry store. I actually met Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby is such a freaking storyteller. Let me tell you that. I've heard stories from Bobby at the signing that you would get a kick out of. So me and Brian were meeting Uncle Bobby when your podcast was going on. So of course I didn't see it. In fact, I didn't watch any YouTube throughout the whole week. Not even David Land's videos. Sorry.
Oh, we saw you on TV. We
Yes.
saw
Yeah.
you get an autograph from Spencer Figgin.
And I also got on TV getting Mario's autograph.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that. I saw you get the autograph from Spencer though.
Yeah, because what happened was I was going by Spencer's garage and I called him over and he said, "Oh, hang on 1 second, I got to do this TV interview." Now I thought it was something like for NBC doing like a segment or doing something that wasn't live. But then all of a sudden he comes walking to me, signs my autograph, and then this camera guy shows up and I'm like, maybe he's gonna get something for a video or a promo or something like that. Then the next thing you know, my phone explodes. You're on TV. I'm like, what? But to say the least, I love the IndyCar drivers because the entire month of May, take the amount of wins Richard Petty has in NASCAR and add like 10 or 20. That's how many autographs I collected this month.
Oh, they're
Oh,
great.
shit.
You lucky dude.
They're great to their
They're
fans.
nice people. I mean, but there's not a single IndyCar driver I generally just. They're all.
Yeah, DC Comics Racing. He said that NRF had the nerve to say that Fox's 600 broadcast was superior to NBC's 500 broadcast. When
What the hell?
even though he didn't watch the 500. Speaking of that, you guys want to go into the 500 before we finish up Formula One, since the guy who's been there the whole month is here. So I guess we might as well go into it.
Yes.
Well, I got
And then we'll
I
go
got a
back
lot
to
of
F1
stories.
once we're done.
I got a lot of stories. So once we're all done with the podcast, I gotta just spill out the stories here because a lot of them are pretty cool. But
It's cool as fuck.
but the whole city was just lit for the month of May, and I think the Speedway put on a stellar show. I specifically said when I was at the track, I feel like I'm watching an old Indy 500 because you had Simon Pagenaud, who was the dominant car, rightfully so, led most of the race, pulled away from the competition. Then you had your comers and goers, Chano and Rossi. Then you had people like Elliott, who I thought was probably going to win, fell off with a penalty and never recovered, which I was very disappointed about.
Poor Elio.
You had the people who he thought was going to be very good, like Marco, who completely sucked the whole race. That's what happened. It felt like I was watching a 92 500 because in 92, Michael led the entire race, but his engine blew. But thank God Simon Pagenaud won, because let me tell you something. Rossi got to my anxiety. Let me tell you that. He did not make it easy on me. I said it to Brian, can this ever be easy for us? He goes, nope. So the whole last 2 laps, we were just biting our nails, and I did not celebrate until he came out of 4, and we knew Rossi wasn't going to pass him. Then I just started bawling. And if you want to watch my reaction, Joe Donahue is going to upload a video, and just let me say, don't wear headphones, please.
I would love to see that raw reaction because
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the pain Simon Pagenaud went through the past couple months.
oh
And
my
to
god,
finally
he's had
get
no
his name
speed.
on the board, Warner. That was just incredible. The whole way all pieced out for him was just picture perfect. I really think now he's driving the best. He drove the best race of his life. He drove the best race I've ever seen of anybody at the Speedway. I mean, I've been coming to Speedway and I've been watching the race for the past 12, 13 years. I've never seen anybody drive as good of a race as he did.
It seems like this has been a common trend with the 500, and the winner has never really won it easy. I guess you could say Alexander Rossi. I'm stumbling on my words now. I've had exams and tired, but I'm thinking through this. Okay. What was I gonna say? It seems like every time I've been watching the 500 and seen past races, it seems like the winners always had to work for it because there's always that guy in second. Like, was it Gordon Johncock won in '82? That was really close battle. Bobby Rahal has had to win it very closely a couple times. What was that one year where Al Unser Jr. wrecked out? I think it was
89.
Okay, 89, yeah.
we were with somebody who actually was there in that the race, and he said when Emerson wrecked Little Al, everybody in the stands booed Emerson.
Yeah, and I didn't drink the orange juice, right?
That was 93.
Oh,
But I'll tell you what, I was listen. I gotta say something about Little Al. I met him Sunday of qualifying, and I was not impressed when I met him because normally he's a very talkative, chill, nice guy. He seemed very tense, and for the first time I ever saw him light a cigarette, I said, "Since when does Little Al smoke?" I mean, yeah, he's going through. His wife just died. You know, his kid has Down syndrome or whatever the hell she has. He's got a rough life, but I was shocked to see him smoke. And then I said, something's off about Little Al. Something is off. And then what do you think happens later that night?
Oh my goodness.
Busted. I woke up. I got a text
My
from Kevin with
goodness.
his mugshot. I said, "You've got to be friggin' kidding me!" That was the big fail of the month besides Fernando because, like, I mean, really, you're out friggin' Unser Jr. and you drink and drive. You know, these days you have Uber and everything. I mean, if you're at a bar and you said, "Hey, I'm Al Unser Jr. I'm too drunk to drive," everybody in Indy would give you a ride.
I would gladly give him a ride home if
I would give him a ride. I'd be like, "Yeah, come up in my car."
I give him a ride on my back.
Because I spoke to a friend of mine. I met so many friends at the Speedway. She was actually a big fan of Lil Al when she was younger. She says, "I'm just so disappointed in him because this is his third DUI he's gotten."
His
He's got
third?
an alcohol problem.
Third?
And he hasn't been able to really. It's
Alcoholism.
unfortunate because I think he can't control it sometimes.
No, he can't. And that part I sympathize with because, you know, I lost my father because he was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholism. And he couldn't stop drinking and he wound up killing him. Same thing with Little Al. He can't stop drinking for the life of him. It's a disease.
I feel sorry for him because it's like, you know, you got a problem and it's hard to resolve it just out of the blue and out of nowhere.
It is. I feel
But
so
at the
bad
same
for him on that
time,
one.
though, I would think if you're someone with this much prestige, you're Alan Jr. He's won what, 5 Indy 500s? 4?
2.
2.
Cameron
Oh,
won 9 of them.
Jesus. I thought, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Really tired. I was thinking of someone else.
Now you're good.
Jesus.
You're
Okay.
combining a lot of Indy 500 wins. That's
I
for
know.
sure.
I must be. But still, though, 2 Indy 500 wins is still something, you know, that can't be measured.
What was really disappointing was I was going to get my helmet signed by him. I bought a big old helmet that was a big old collage of all the Penske winners. It had Al Jr. 94. It had Uncle Bobby in 81. It had Al Sr. 87. Elio in all 3 years he won. Will Power, Montoya. I was going to get all the living winners to sign it. Now I have to wait a whole another year for Al Jr. to sign that.
Did you get Joe DeFerrin from his 2003 500 win?
Yes, I did. In fact, I got him. It was a bad time I got him, but thank God he was able to sign. It was right after he got bumped.
Oh no.
Let me tell you something. Joe DeFerrin is a man of passion, and he took it to heart. But let me tell you, that McLaren team was so badly mismanaged. I mean, the most pathetic thing I've ever heard the Speedway was they lost 2 days of track activity because the color wasn't right. A
You guys
car
are-
that was plain
I
white.
said
that looked-
enough about McLaren. I don't think I need to insult them any more than I've already have in my video and on this podcast.
Yeah, sure. McLaren's fucking
I've torn
stupid.
McLaren apart these last 2 weeks.
I mean, a car that looked like a mutt, which was Kyle Kaiser's car. I mean, it was quite common. It was quite common because, you know, in many years, you would have people borrow parts from different teams. So you would have like a yellow nose, a white tub, and a green engine cover and a blue wing. You know, you have a mud-colored car, but guess what? That mud-colored car qualified. I mean, it's more important to get the car qualified. Have your qualification photos look like crap, but you're in the race. They lost 2 days of track activity, and if I'm not mistaken, they missed Fast Friday. Gee, that's kind of an important day. That's when you get your qualifying boost.
I mean, what the hell was going on with that program?
That whole program was a disaster to begin with. Did you know that when they went to their Texas test,
They didn't have
they
it.
didn't have a steering wheel?
Yeah.
And F1 steering wheel. And I think I said this in my video I did regarding McLaren and why they got bumped. I think they took it too much like an F1 approach. They treated it like it was an F1 race, forgetting that they're in a different race, open wheel racing series. They just, I don't know. I've said my piece about McLaren. I feel bad for Fernando. He deserves better than that.
I mean, hey.
He really did.
I mean, if Fernando can really show up to any team and say, "Hey, I got Kamoa, I got all these sponsors. Let's make a mini car on the ride." Do you not think that people like Andretti or people like Ganassi would field him a car? Of course they would.
If he was in a Penske car,
I can't
imagine.
believe he didn't go to Penske or Ed Carpenter Racing. I didn't know why McLaren didn't sign with them. Again, Spidey, like you said, Carlin Racing is also a British team, and McLaren's a British manufacturer. But
Yeah.
still, though, you wouldn't think in the IndyCar world I would sign with Penske if I were McLaren.
Plus, they probably could have won it.
Yeah.
Anyone.
In fact, I think all the Penske cars except for Helio were in the top 5 at one point.
So
That whole penalty with James Davison was bullshit.
You blame James Davison.
Stopped on the racetrack and Elio punted him.
Yeah, and Will Power ran over the pit gun.
Yeah, so I missed it. I take a leak, and I was like, "What happened?" And Go Power got penalized, and I was like, "Wow."
Can we all press F to pay respects to Kyle Kaiser's car?
Rip.
That was sad.
That was depressing, man.
They get they get $3 million check to be in the race.
Seeing Kyle Kaiser's car get tore up like that was honestly depressing. The thing is how Juncos was such an underdog story on bump day, and then that just that was sad.
Hey, at least they made the race. They got that out of it.
Yeah. They could still say they were able to bump McLaren out of the 500, so.
We were the team that bumped McLaren out of the Indy 500, even though they were already shit to begin with.
Here comes like lap 50 or 60. Oh, Kyle Kaiser's in the wall.
That Kaiser crash really changed the whole play of the race.
Oh, it did. Rob, I'm not going to lie. The middle of the race, like, sure, there was interesting field strategy, but it was honestly kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. But as soon as that Kaiser wreck happened, they would balls out.
That's when all the dominoes fell. And I was waiting for that yellow to come out because I said, "Watch, a yellow comes out, it's going to change the play of the race."
What the hell happens?
Imagine a leading, me and Brian were sitting there like, "Okay, we're okay with this. We're okay with this." We were just kind of relaxing. We were just kind of mellowing out. We were enjoying the race, and then we said, "Oh crap, this is going to get real good, real fast."
Man, Magnum put on a dominating performance and was able to execute. And at the same time, though, he had so many challenges. Newgarden passed him from the lead at one point. Carpenter was always on his. Carpenter was right on him through the majority of the race, and then he had that duel with Rossi at the end for the 500, which was amazing to watch. That was really fun to watch. But poor Rowdy got his heart stomped on.
Poor me.
I almost cried when Takuma Sato crossed the finish line third.
I wanted Takuma to go. I wanted Takuma to win.
I actually cried when Larson lost, or now Rossi lost.
Oh my God.
I was just so happy with how everything played out, and like I said, once we get done with the podcast, our after show, I got a whole bunch of story. My God, it's
a
lot of good stuff I got to tell you about. In fact, I got all this shit back here because I got bags and bags full of crap back here.
I see a lot of that shit.
That's a good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah.
It is, because you know what? My personal collection, man. I said before, I said to my friend at the Speedway, I said, you know what? One of these days, I just got to get my bins of stuff out and just go through it all. Got to make a long-ass video about it, go through all the bins, make a live stream out of it, and it would be like a solid 3-hour video, but it'll be going through every single one of the cars.
You got to remake that. Your full collection video that you made back in 2013. You got to remake that.
most of the stuff is now gone. Like most of the stuff now is just IndyCar stuff back here because I have no room to hang shit up. Then again, my friend was supposed to hook me up with command strips, but he never did.
Where is your NASCAR and IMSA stuff though?
My IMSA, the only IMSA stuff I have is really T-shirts and autographs. That's it.
Yeah.
And the
It's
NASCAR
hard to
stuff.
get an IMSA diecast. The only IMSA diecast I have is an old 1979 Corvette, and I got a Corvette logo there, and then I got the number 3 C7R. That's the only IMSA stuff I have.
Well, to pay for ARC models, you have to charge an arm and a leg for 1/43rd.
I've been trying to get some more IMSA diecast. I wanted to get the Brumos Porsche throwback, but I haven't been able to find it. That's why I've been asking Kevin to ask. Been asking Kevin where you get the IMSA diecast because I would love to know.
I'm trying to get some. I don't know if these count as IMSA diecast, but they had some. I told you this earlier how they had some at Target, with like the Audi R8 LMS and fucking BMW M8, I believe, and then they had something else. They had those at Target. I'm gonna try to get those next time.
Oh, I've wanted to get that Racing Legends Mazda 787B. Damn it, I've been trying to find it. I want to get it so bad. I love the 787B.
Speaking of diecast, did you know Fernando stuff was 40% off on Car Day?
Yeah, I saw David.
I
saw David's Insta.
Just to get it.
I was sitting there like, why couldn't they just give a big F you to everybody and make it 34% off?
No, they'll be like 34% off, and that's the middle finger sticking up.
Really? I mean, I feel bad for those people who bought it on poll day. Because like, oh, he's gonna make the race.
Right. Get all your Kimoa hats now.
I need to get a Kimoa.
What's Kimoa?
It's a sunglass. So Kimoa is basically like this company that Fernando Alonso owns. It's basically sunglasses. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Sunglasses. Oh God.
There's so much about this Indy 500 to talk about. It just, oh my God.
It was probably the best one in years.
Sunglasses.
I'm trying to think what else we can mention.
This Indy 500 was the first one I really sat down, watched the entire 200 laps, because I've watched Indy 500 before, but there's where I had to miss certain sections of the race. But it did get a little boring there from at the initial start and through, I want to say, the first middle part of the race, that 20-lap stretch there. But damn, that race was incredible. And the battle between Rossi and Simon Pagenaud at the end, it was good for me, because if I had to pick any two guys to battle for the win, I would want to be Rossi and Pagenaud, just because I've been friends with Rob now and I know how passionate he is about Simon Pagenaud and how he's been so close but hasn't won the 500 yet. And obviously my favorite driver, Rossi. It was just so much fun to watch, and while I was disappointed, it was still really, really cool to see Simon Pagenaud win. Just what a great guy, what a great story. And regardless who your favorite driver is, I think you have to be happy for Pagenaud and that 22 team.
Yeah. They put on a hell of a race. They dominated. They led the most laps, and I just think overall they've had the greatest pace of all the Penske cars. And I don't think I've ever seen a more perfect month of May than what Pagenaud put on there. Like, wins the IndyCar Grand Prix in one of the most. That was a great finish to begin with. And then he goes out, gets the pole, and then wins the 500 with a great battle between Rossi and him. Pagenaud did exactly what he has to do, and what I think more teams and drivers need to work on in the 500 the month of May. And just seeing, I don't know, Pagenaud's just the guy you want to win the 500, because Pagenaud's got such a great personality. He's so good to the fans, and he's overall such a nice guy and a great driver as well. He's had a bit of a down season, but I think from what he's had this whole month, I think that's going to give him a little bit of a boost of confidence. Oh, actually, it'll give him a big boost of confidence now that he's won the 500 for the first time. So it was awesome to see him dump the milk on himself. It's awesome to see a guy like Pagenaud because he's got so much passion for the sport. So you always want to see someone like that win. Because can you imagine? Let's see. What if Ed Jones won? Like,
holy shit!
We'd all forget about it.
I thought that would be a thing the morning of the race, but as soon as the green flag hit, go right to the back. I mean,
Even
Ed Jones is that guy who just qualifies well and then does bad in race trim. That's Ed Jones.
Good qualifying run, but shitty ass performance in the race.
the thing was, when he was qualifying, he hit 240 down into going to turn 3.
Really?
The car was set up that good. He was hitting 240 down the back straightaway.
Huh.
And to think about it, in 2 years, these cars are going to go to 900 horsepower. The track record's going to be broken.
I can't wait. They still go
What?
with the twin turbo V6 or do they go into a V8? There are rumors they're going to a V8, but
I don't think it's going to be a V8. I think it's still going to be a V6, but it's going to be a 2.4 liter, 900 horsepower engine.
Yeah.
so I would assume they're going to make maybe the turbochargers bigger. I would assume that so they can create more boost. Yeah. So it looks like we're sticking with the V6s, but I would love for them to go back to the old Champ Car V10s. Now, I think that'd be beautiful.
It's going to be mental how fast they're going to go with those new engines.
So
I
they're
don't
going
know
to 2.4 liters. Okay, so they're downsizing them. 'Cause right now they're 2.6 liters, I believe.
They're
I don't know
2.2
why.
now.
I don't know why, but I had this crazy thing, or this is just like this crazy idea. But I mean, I don't know how bad, or I don't know how it would work. But remember when IndyCar used to sound like NASCAR with like those?
Yeah, the Indy Racing League. Like, what, 19? Oh, that was awful. It doesn't work with Indy cars, man.
Holy
I'm sorry,
crap.
but
Oh, it's misery.
I love
I
the
know.
sound of a good NASCAR V8, but after a while, it gets too repetitive. I love hearing, like Rowdy and I were talking about this last night. The 08 F1 McLaren Mercedes. That V10 is the most beautiful sounding thing I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I just wish, like, maybe sports like NASCAR had more differential and engine sounds rather than just hear them the same sounds, But
I
God,
like
that did not work. That did not work at all.
Well,
What
one
It
thing.
sounded terrible.
What would sound really cool is that, like, if you go to the track, let's say, for example, because I'm going to Pocono on Sunday. Let's say if I go to Pocono, if I were to close my eyes and a Ford went by, I'd be like, that's a Ford. I'd be like, a Chevrolet went by, that's a Chevy. Toyota goes by, knew that's a Toyota. They probably should have all 3 different engine sounds, but they're so spec, that they're going to really have to rule all sound the same pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in NASCAR, they're literally the exact same. They all get a small block V8 that's virtually the same thing. It's fuel injected. It's just made by different manufacturers. They're literally the same engine. That's why I don't like it when people say, oh, NASCAR is so different. One season Toyota's good. The next season Chevy's good. It's spec. When was the last time you really heard a differential sound in NASCAR? They all sound the same because they're the same fuel-injected small block V8s that NASCAR has had since the fucking 60s. Now, I get it. NASCAR's meant to be low-tech and all, but, like, can you try to have something different, please? Maybe Gen 7 will be different.
Oh, sorry. I like NASCAR how it's still got that good old boy type of feeling where it's like, oh, you build it from bare hands, how much technology goes into it. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I think Rowdy over there sitting there like, I can't believe that we built a 900 horsepower engine just to put it down to 550.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
Well, the one good thing about the engines was the restrictor plate races back in 2000 and like 2007.
That's when those V8s sounded good, when there was the Gen 4 car, because down the super speedways, those things sounded sexy. But now, like, I don't get it. You build a naturally aspirated small block V8 that's capable of almost 1,000 horsepower at one point in NASCAR, but then Brian France like, oh, maybe 550 will work. There we go.
I don't know if you have read the latest not like in the press kind of news, but kind of like under the table thing. I think Brian France is gone permanently.
Oh, he's gone. I think he's gone. He's not. I don't think there's any communication with him at all.
Have you noticed they dropped the word interim CEO from Jim France?
Yeah, they dropped
that.
Yeah,
he's here to stay. The IMSA god is here to stay. So
I think
Thank
I also
God.
read the
Fuck you,
weekly.
Brian France. Good riddance.
I also kind of read the weekly page that the position's been terminated permanently for him.
Yeah.
As
that-
it should
Good
be.
riddance.
Yeah,
he deserves to. He deserves that.
He
Deserved life
can
in
drop
prison.
the soap all he wants in jail. I don't care. I'm glad he's gone.
That seems like
Glad he's gone.
that whole trial seems like it's water under the bridge now. Like nobody's heard about anything. I think a lot of hush money's going into that.
All he's done with NASCAR is make it a travesty and just kill it. That's what his goal was.
The only good thing Brian France have done for the sport of NASCAR is safety advancements, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's ever done good. Like the car of tomorrow, yeah, sure, it was built on safety,
it was
but
the
at the
shit
same
box.
time, it was shit.
It was like I was just quietly reading something, and I was like, "There's no interim CEO for Jim France's name on it." And then I read and I did more research, and it looks like Brian France is gone permanently.
Yeah, he ruined the format. Like he makes it so Reddick wins the championship too, which is just messed up.
We're not about to go into that.
You want to start World War III? All right.
Oh no, we'll start World War III We'll start World War III when we get NRF on here, and me and him have a big old argument.
DC Comics Racing, nah, hey, goodbye.
I will give NASCAR credit though. As a semi-professional photographer, I kind of realize now that stock cars are a hell of a lot easier to photo than Indy cars. Those friggin' things are like bullets.
They're fucking tanks.
No, you're talking Indy cars. The Indy cars are like bullets. They just
I
sit
know.
on free, and it's so hard to shoot them, and they're so small. The stock cars are like twice the size, and they go slower. That's like my dream. I can shoot them easily.
To put it this way, the Indy car is the tiny, skinny kid who can run away, and then the stock car is a fat bully. There we go.
And then IMSA is like somewhere in the middle.
Sorry, stock car, in quotes. Stock.
And then like the IMSA cars are somewhere in the middle.
Nah, the Insta cars are the hot chick in the school.
Especially the Porsches.
How about the dirt racers?
Nah, the Corvette. Every Insta car is this hot looking chick.
Except for that one 3-wheel prototype that was in 24 hours.
Hey,
like,
don't hate on the Delta Wing.
Delta Wing.
It's just weird looking.
The Delta Wing deserves no hate.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying my opinion, and it looked weird.
I'll say
It
this
was unique.
was Roll's fastest penis.
What?
They looked like a Star Wars TIE fighter when I first saw it. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, Don Panos, he's done a lot of great things. God rest his soul, but the Delta Wing was not one of them.
My face.
It was an overall failure.
Also, little fun fact: Don Panos, he owned Road Atlanta and Sebring. Guess who owns Road Atlanta and Sebring now? That they could easily add 2 races there in 2021.
NASCAR.
The French family. When Jim France acquitted ALMS, he bought Sebring and Road Atlanta with it.
Oh, I thought it was like around 2014 is when Jim France decided to buy LMS and merge it with Grand Am. Around 2014 somewhere.
Yeah, because it was just for the better for the boat series because ALMS was kind of dying off because
ALMS lost its P1 class. And it was just straight up GT cars. And ALMS was just kind of dying out. Meanwhile, Grand Am, all it had going was the DPs. So it was the best of both worlds because they ultimately, if they never merged again, they both would have died and it would have been sad.
Yeah, luckily, both those brains really, for something great. But yeah, you could easily add 2 races in 2021. I mean, you got 2 free tracks to go to.
Please add Sebring. That would be the most badass NASCAR track ever.
You get people complaining about, it's too bumpy. Oh, yeah, my ass is too bumpy.
Oh, it's not turning left all the time. and there's no side-by-side action. Oh, I'm sorry. Learn how circuit racers run.
I don't know if you know this, but the concrete on the front stretch is still the original, I believe.
Yeah, from World War II, because Sebring used to be a World War II air base, if I'm correct.
Yes, and
Or
that
an
original
airfield.
concrete is the original. And those cars bounce. You need mouth guards on that front straightaway.
Oh, especially the DPs. I mean, the GT cars, it's not as visible because they have such low ride height. But the DP cars, you can just see them, especially coming out of that corner down the front stretch out under the bridge. You just see them bumping up and down violently. It
Could
was
you
great.
imagine a
It's
NASCAR
great, though.
splitter going through there would be torn up?
Dude, the modern day Gen 6 car with the splitter on a bumpy road like that, it would be destroyed.
It would destroy
Everyone's
the
racing
splitter.
gears would be
And the
up
car
in
suspension
smoke.
would fly in a million pieces.
It will almost be like
It would
almost-
look
it
like
would almost be like
Rowdy's
the
Austin
backstretch.
Dillon Roval car in his garage.
Speaking of that, after the inaugural Roval race last season, all the race engineers down RCR said that the Roval beat the cars to hell. And, like, these guys have been working there for, like, 30, 35, sometimes even 40 years, and they've never gone to a track that beat the cars up that much. So if the Roval beat the cars that bad, good God, Sebring.
Yeah, the Sebring, it would be like going down the backstretch at Fontana, but probably much worse.
It would be a straight
Much
up
worse.
demolition derby. The first thing you're going to see is, oh, Chase Elliott hits the wall and the fan base is killing each other.
I mean, Fontana's one of his worst tracks, so I mean, I won't be
If
surprised
you're
if
going
he
to
does.
replace two tracks for Road Atlanta and Sebring, I say you axe Kentucky and you axe the second Texas state.
Actually, no. Axe New Hampshire.
Hampshire's not
New
actually a
Hampshire's
bad
only
track.
got one race. I think we need to get rid of these second date tracks. So I think that's where we would
I feel
need
like
to
that.
go.
I feel like if we were to change the schedule, the only second race that we should do is the Daytona July race. That's the only second race maybe we should do.
How do we
Other
go
than
from
that-
the Indy 500 to talking about the NASCAR schedule?
Because
Yeah.
NASCAR was also on the same day.
I don't
It's
know.
amazing how things that's.
Did any of us
Well,
even
you
give
know,
our
yeah,
opinions
we
of
are,
the
that's
actual
it.
Indy 500?
I think we did talk. Well, let's see. Anyone else got any thoughts on the 500? Rob, you have plenty. I know.
Well, I got plenty. That's to be for a whole, it could be almost a whole show in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually
So,
forgot. to
I
get-
also
What the fuck?
have something to say about the Indy 500. Takuma will be back. You watch.
There's
Takuma's always there. Even though Takuma is irrelevant, he's relevant. That's Takuma stuff. He's
There's
always
something-
the guy
Yeah.
who speaks up.
Did y'all talk about that move that
Yeah.
y'all talk about that move that crap, what's his name? How'd I forget? Pinned okay, I just forget every driver's name. That move that caused a big wreck.
Oh, Ray Hall.
Bourdais.
Yeah, Ray Hall, there we go.
Yeah, we.
No, he didn't cause the wreck.
It was
I know it.
blatantly obvious that Bourdais caused that.
Yeah, Bourdais, yeah.
Or they did cause it, and when Graham got out of the car and approached Bourdais, it reminded me so much of his dad because Bobby would get out of the car and friggin' punch people in the cockpit.
Like father, like son. Oh wait, so he basically pulled a Clint Boyer Ryan Newman where he punches the guy when he's still in the car. With
Same
that-
Bobby
thing.
Hall would get out of the car and he would punch people. Graham got out and he was gonna kick his ass.
He was
Bourdais
pissed.
was
when he
just
got
sitting
when
there.
he was
Fight Sebastian, but I was like, oh come on, let Bourdais get out before you're gonna throw a swing, and take the helmet off too.
okay.
With drivers
Okay.
leaving their helmets on.
Okay, so when he approached his car, we didn't see the beginning of the wreck, so I don't know if he was mad at him or checking to see if he was okay.
No, he was mad.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
While
Yeah.
they were wrecking, as they were sliding down to the grass, Ray Hall was pumping his fist as they were wrecking.
Yeah.
Did you see Rossi give the salutes as Oriel
Oh,
Servia?
yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I was
awesome.
just gonna say
Pumping
that.
his fist at Oriel Servia down the front.
You see David Calabro going,
Oh,
hey,
fuck this
he's
shit,
saluted Oriel Servia.
Dude, I thought he
He
was
was
gonna
doing
wreck
this.
Pagano. I thought he was
I
gonna
don't
wreck
get why
Pagano.
Servia was holding him up though. That was
Yeah.
stupid. That was
I
so
know.
dumb. He kept holding up Rossi and blocking he forced him down to the inside wall in the front stretch, for God's sake.
It might be a good thing that they don't have radioactives for IndyCar.
I was getting,
No,
I
it
wasn't
is.
mad, but I was getting annoyed with what Serbia was doing, which is why when Rossi started pumping his fist in the air, I was laughing.
I was actually
was too.
pissed at Oriole Serbia.
I was actually getting annoyed with Serbia because it wasn't even just Rossi he was giving a hard time. He was giving the whole field a hard time. At one point, he was blocking Bourdais and like, dude, you're a lap
That's
down.
something I don't get. You're not going
Give
for
up.
position. It's not going to help you in any way. Why are you blocking them when you're a lap
You're
down?
racing for the win when
Sounds
you're a
like
lap
another
down.
driver that I know.
You're
Ryan
racing
Newman.
like you're.
Brian No Neck Newman.
Ryan
Hello,
Oriole
Newman.
Serbia is the Ryan Newman of IndyCar.
Oriole Serbia did not give anybody any favors.
I don't know why.
Let me tell you that.
I
You
get
didn't
it's
have
the
to give him any-
500, you want to stay in the lead lap, but for God's sakes, you're going a lap down. Give up. Just
I
give
will
up.
say
You're
this,
a lap-
though. I will say this. Let's be glad that he didn't do what Bourdais did, because drivers would have actually beaten the crap out of him.
If he did if what he did to okay, if he was Bourdais and he did well, okay, I don't know how to put this into words. If he came down on Rossi in turn 3 and pulled the same move Bourdais did on Ray Hall, I guarantee you Rossi would beat the living shit out of him.
Yep.
Rossi was infuriated already as is because the pit stop before that, the fuel hose wasn't working properly. And then you put in and out, and you see Rossi just spamming on the dashboard there.
I've never seen Rossi more enraged when I've watched IndyCar. I've never seen him this mad, but I think, you know what? That shows how much passion these drivers have for the Indy 500. They want to give everything they got, and they don't want to be able to afford mistakes.
Yeah,
and I think you even saw that with Graham Rahal as well. He was mad at Bourdais for. I don't blame him, though. That was a stupid move on Bourdais. I couldn't believe he did that. But, I don't blame Graham for being mad in that situation. It's a 500. You're going for the win, and you can't afford to have dumb moves like that take you out of the race. So it shows the passion the drivers really have for, in my opinion, the greatest race in the world. So
it is the greatest race in the world. That's a fucking fact, right
It
there.
is.
Let me tell you.
For me, it's
okay. Good.
Oh, I was about to say for me, it's the material between the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500. Probably because I've only been watching Indy since like 2015, and I've been watching Daytona for like my whole life. So that's just my opinion on it.
well, the Daytona 500 is okay because it's still more prestigious than the Monaco Grand Prix.
I know. Indy 500, I mean, I was just always watch it because it was like on ABC. I mean, and stuff like that, like it used to be.
I miss Alan Bestwick.
The only bad part I don't like about ABC leaving. I miss hearing Alan Bestwick's voice, man.
I know.
I grew up with that guy. When I got into NASCAR in 07, and he was commentating, well, back then it was Marty Reed, but
Marty Reed.
God, Alan Bestwick has that motorsports voice. He's got the passion.
Right now,
But of course,
right
there's
now,
ABC
right now.
he was with.
I remember I became a NASCAR fan. I just want to say this. I became a NASCAR fan, well after ESPN stopped broadcasting NASCAR. But looking back at the videos and the races and stuff from then, I wish ESPN was still here.
ESPN doesn't give a shit, though.
I mean, actually, I would like Alan Bestwick to come back. I just don't want ESPN as a whole to come back to NASCAR because I don't know about y'all, but they can get pretty annoying sometimes.
They don't give a shit. Do you remember the 2018 St. Petersburg Grand Prix? They literally ended the coverage as Bourdais was going into victory lane for stupid college basketball.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and also something interesting that and also something throughout that whole race. Okay, so they're still on the commercial break, and they miss the goddamn restart. Remember that? I don't know if it's for you guys, but for me, I mean, holy crap, ABC is so annoying for me over here in California. You would not believe how annoying it is. I mean, basically, every time I turn on ABC, it's always a car chase.
And people always say, well, then how come ESPN does a good job at broadcasting the F1 races? Yeah, they're broadcasting the F1 races, but Sky Sports is the commentators that are doing it.
Sky
Yes,
Sports takes
ESPN's
care of everything.
broadcasting it, but it's Sky Sports in actuality.
Sky Sports literally takes care of everything. F1, ABC just
Plus, you also would have to think about it, and this is something that, I mean, if you were to really think about it, I mean, I don't even think ESPN would want to broadcast NASCAR like anymore.
Well,
It's
they
just
don't care about
because,
any motorsport. They dropped
well,
ALMS
okay,
in 2014, even
well,
when
it's just
they merged.
because, well, here's something that and this is something that think I don't know who said it, but basically, when you think about it, ESPN only cares basically about the big popular sports like football, baseball, mainly football because football is God, basically, and stuff like that. Like, they want to focus on broadcasting the popular sports. I mean, NASCAR, we all know it kind of lost its popularity and stuff like that. So, yeah, even though ESPN broadcasts the worst game out of the whole NFL season, what is it, the Pro game or something?
The Pro Bowl.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl, whatever the hell it's called. While that game was going on, we were all waiting to see who was going to win the Rolex 24.
See, it's kind of
I
funny.
remember when, speaking of the Rolex 24, ESPN was broadcasting ALMS and Grand Am, and their coverage was okay, but that was from 2011 to 2013. It was right before they actually had the merging.
and then the
But,
merger, yeah.
To this day, I still think Speed is one of the greatest racing channel in the world.
Yeah.
The Rolex 24. Speed had the Rolex from 2003 to 2010, if I'm correct. I'll have to look back at it, but I think it was somewhere in that time frame. Especially, I know when they started broadcasting the Rolex when the DPs came out. But Speed, I miss Speed so much. I miss him so much. They were so good.
Well, I had a story for you. Talk about commentators. This year, Bob Jenkins got into the IMS Hall of Fame because not only did he do the NASCAR coverage on ESPN, he also did the IRL coverage for ESPN. But not many people know he was the IMS radio guy for how many years, and now he does the public address work. So I walk up to him, and it was at this big room in the back of the museum, and what I had a special ticket for the autograph session to attend to. It was a lot of the IMS Hall of Famers. Bob Jenkins was there. So after I met Mario Andretti, I got him to sign a photo of his '94 car, and I go to Bob Jenkins and I say, you know what? You and BP were my childhood voices. And he goes, man, I miss him so much. We used to have so much fun together in the booth. And I say, you know what? You just cannot get commentary like you and BP anymore. And he goes, I appreciate that, man. And
oh, go ahead.
And I think that a lot of that is just missing these days. A lot of pure, genuine knowledge is missing out of the booth. And there was this one interview somebody did with Bob Jenkins, and he was invited to commentate the Darlington race the past couple of years, but he declined it. And the reason why he declined it was because even he doesn't follow the series anymore because of all the rule changes they made. And if a guy like Bob Jenkins doesn't show up for the race because he's in his drivers, that just shows you what quality of commentators you can get these days.
That's why we're stuck with people like Rick Allen and Jeff Burton and Darrell Waltrip. The only good commentary I think NASCAR really has left is Mike Joy. And once he's gone, I don't know what they're going to do.
Jeff Gordon's pretty good too.
TV deals aren't that far away.
I'll say this. I mean, I actually do appreciate what some of those guys do, but I mean, when you have someone like Bob Jenkins say that, it's like, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I got other stories for you, but I'm not going to say them on live TV because a lot of the NASCAR people will be pissed off at some of these drivers.
I might
What
get
do you
jumped for
mean
what I'm.
Chase Elliott's a bad driver?
I might get jumped.
I don't give a shit.
I
I might get jumped for what I'm about to say.
Oh,
But I actually like Darrell Walker as a commentator.
You know,
I can't
Daryl
stand
never
him.
used to be this much of a clown. Like, Daryl used to be legitimately decent to listen to. But I'm sorry, man. He's just a clown show now. Like, he's an embarrassment. Every time I turn on free racing, this is solely why I kept watching.
You're talking about Talladega.
I didn't want to turn on Coke 600 pre-race. I knew I'd see Darrell Waltrip doing something absolutely ridiculous and useless to the point of the race. Like, for God's sakes, like, I turn on, I'm like, oh yeah, Pagano won, man. I'm so hyped. Pagano won. I know Rob's happy. The Indy 500 was great. I turn on the Coke 600 pre-race. What do I see? Darrell Waltrip on a car going, like, I'm sorry. It's just Darrell Waltrip become the clown of NASCAR. It's not appealing at all.
I mean, like, out of the two Waltrips, Michael Waltrip, I would say, is the biggest clown.
They're both embarrassments.
I cannot get over his crush over Chris Myers. I swear to God, I think Michael has a thing for Chris Myers. And I don't judge people who are gay or anything like that, but I think Michael Waltrip really had an affection for him.
Oh, man.
I like Chris Myers. He's such a nice guy.
Dude, imagine the shit that went on, Hollywood Hotel during the commercial break.
Oh, I would not want to be in that.
Okay.
Whatever.
Hey, sorry to cut this short, but I gotta go, guys. I gotta go eat dinner. I got a busy day tomorrow, so I got stuff to do tonight. I'll talk to y'all later.
Welcome to my life. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Oh, man.
I think we've covered just about everything regarding the Indy 500.
Well, hold up. I'll just say something short about the Indy 500. I just gotta say, after watching, this race, I mean, out of all the three races in this day of racing, I mean, this has just got to be the best one out of all of them. It was a great race. Well, I mean, the first half was boring.
Thoughts on those last two laps.
Well, I mean, the first few laps of the race, I mean, I would say it took a while to get going, but I felt like for me, once the sun came out, everything just, it was just, great, and stuff like that. And I knew Pagano was gonna win the 500, but I didn't know he was gonna win it like that, constantly it's like swapping leads, It's Rossi, it's Simon Pagano. Holy crap, Takuma Sano's coming from somewhere, and stuff like that, and just yeah, and that's Penske's 18th Indy 500. So I mean, now I'm waiting for Newgarden to win, and Eddie Carpenter to win it. I'm expecting a lot of new Indy 500 winners as it comes and goes, but still waiting for that fourth win from Helio. I'm gonna win this history right there, baby.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
So, Rowdy.
He has had some bad luck.
How about we let Rowdy talk? He's been quiet.
That's good. I'm just a quiet guy. Anyways, I was getting flashbacks from the Daytona 500 this year because Kyle Busch finished second. The Daytona 500. Turn around a few months later, Rossi finished second, Indy 500. But at least Rossi's won the race before. And side note, does anybody know where I can get a Rossi 2016 Indy 500 win diecast?
Those are expensive. They're like $90 for 164 on eBay now.
Okay, never mind then. But
I look like every day.
You can probably find it at Gutsware. I think they still have the eBay store up. I think they still have a couple of them.
I think Gutsware's got it for cheap, don't they?
I didn't see it.
Has them on their eBay page, probably. If
they have Montoya's.
If not, parts and arm and leg for that, pal.
Something
Well,
I'd like to
trying
add
see if I can
about
find that
Pagano's
06
win.
Sam Morris Jr. win.
Something I would like to add about Pagano's win, you could kind of compare it to Dale Sr.'s Daytona 500 win. They tried for multiple times and just eventually won, basically.
Yeah, Pagano's never been a guy that's been slow at Indianapolis either. He's always been fast and competitive. So, and finally, it was nice to see Simon Pagano break through and win the 500. That was awesome. I thought the race was great overall. Like, some of the fuel strategy was really interesting to see. You know, the Hondas got better gas mileage than the Chevys. It was pretty clear and obvious, seeing as how Rossi would, like, slowly make his way up during the green flag pit stops. But overall, that finish was really exciting to watch. And I was hoping Takuma Sato could get it, to be honest with you. And the whole race kept me on the edge of my seat. And I think that's why, for me, it's the greatest race in the world. So I give the Indy 500 a solid 9 out of 10 for me.
I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if Takuma Sato won. No offense to you, Rob, but
Oh, it's all good. All good. Back to what Ultimate Speedway was saying, Pace was saying about comparing to the seniors win. If anybody's gonna be compared to seniors win, the best one is Kanon's in 2013, because the story of that goes. You heard about the story with the lucky penny that Dale Sr. got, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back in 2004-ish, Kanan went to a children's hospital because it was a part of the community day festivities, and he hands this little girl who was battling some life-threatening disease, cancer or something like that. He goes, my mother gave me this good luck medal. I used to bring it to every race with me. I think you need this more than I do. And he gives it to her. Long story short, over the last couple years, she beat the disease. She graduated from college. She got married. She had kids. And she said, oh my God, Tony has not won this race yet. So she overnighted the medal the night before the 2013 race. He received it the morning of, and he won the race.
That's an awesome story, man.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Miracles are possible. Just gotta remember that. They're possible. They can happen.
And pardon me if I sound like I'm half-assed. I think I'm editing photos at the same time. I got to go to
Anyone else got any last-minute thoughts on the Indy 500? Maybe a rating? I give it a solid 9 out of 10. That race was fantastic to watch.
Solid 10.
I think I'd also give it a 9 out of 10.
Probably an 8 out of 10. It took a while for it to be as exciting as it finished out. But, like, if it was exciting faster, then it would probably be, like, a 9. And if Rossi won, it would definitely be a 10.
Give it a 9 out of 10. And if Rossi won, it would 10 out of 10.
Well, I already said my opinion.
Newgarden won. Newgarden was leading towards those last laps, and I was getting so excited, man. But, hey, he finished 4th anyway. A top 5, I'll take it.
When will the podium set be out? I'm actually excited to buy that.
Okay, I'll say one more thing about
podium set that because. Okay.
I was about to say, I'll say one more thing about Takuma Sato, and I swear to God, I'll shut up for the rest of the night. Basically, I really thought he was out of it because he fell down like in the 20s, and then all of a sudden I just see him in the top 5, and I'm like, oh wow, he has a chance to win. Next thing I know, last lap, and Rossi and Bourdais is pulling away from him. Like, oh shit, here we go again. It's just like February. And okay, oh yeah, this is for Rowdy. Okay, so me and you have to go down to Daytona next year, and we have to give Kyle Busch the diecast. If we do that, he might win the Daytona 500.
One day he's going to win it. One day, man. If Simon Pagenaud can win the Indy 500, I see no reason why Kyle Busch can't win the Daytona 500.
He's one of the best drivers in the sport to never win the Daytona 500.
Oh, you got to think too. My other guy, Tony Stewart. Don't even get me started on the 2008 Daytona 500.
Hell,
Or
I,
So Rowdy,
2011.
how about 2002 or 2003 or
Or
2000?
Well, 2002 wasn't bad. 2003, he had a shot, but the thing is the race ended under rain delays, which is kind of makes it painful because he had a really good car in that race. So if the race would have ran out, would have been interesting to see. He maybe could have got it done, but definitely the most painful of all has to be 2008. To make it
what
worse,
about 2007?
well,
Yeah,
2007
see,
he
I
had
was
the
gonna
dominant
say yeah,
car.
2007.
But you have to think there's nothing more painful than taking the white flag with the lead in one of the most prestigious races on earth and then making one false move and to give it away. It's terrible.
he really should have won that race. I remember when I was sitting in my living room and he took the white flag, and I said, "He's just got to hold his line." And when he dropped to help Kyle Busch, I said, "No, he did not just do that."
Oh, God,
I still had my mouth open. I was like, I cannot believe he just threw away this race.
it was so sad. And now that I think about it, if he would have stayed up top, it would have been drag race between him and Bush, so it would have been a win-win. Oh well.
Darn, but
Life
Fat
goes
has
on.
still won, so that's all that matters.
At least Danny Hamlin has 2 500 wins. Who is my second favorite driver?
But back to the Indy
Hamlin
500
had
because I
to
think
fight for the one in 2018. 2016, he just. Let's not talk about 2016.
Oh, I thought Truex won
Fair.
that. I thought Truex won that.
That was so cool.
Let's
Truex
finish.
will win a 500 one of these days. Just like Newgarden will win the. Dude, Newgarden almost won it this year. He was in the lead. He took it from Pagano, but as soon as Pagano got back around, he dropped.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
So, hey, luckily my favorite driver won 2 Daytona 500s. That's Dale Jr. Before
Oh, I thought you were
Elliott.
gonna say Chase Elliott because he's still.
No. I don't even think he has a good chance to win it. Honestly.
He'll end up wrecking himself out, and then the fan base will be like, "It's okay, Chase. Go get him next time."
The
At
fan
least if
base
he
will say,
wins- At least if he wins the July race, I'd be happy with it at least.
the fan base would say, "Oh, you deserve to win it."
Rowdy, read what DC Comics Racing just typed in the chat.
Yep. Yep. And finish up my thoughts on the Indy 500 because I know I got sidetracked there. It was an incredible race. I was not able to sit down physically. Like I tried to sit down, my body just resisted. I stood up and was shaking. It was something I've never felt before. And when Rossi took the lead, I jumped up and down. I was screaming. I celebrated way too early,
I did
obviously,
too.
because I forgot. I forgot. Hey, the draft is definitely a thing that exists. And then Pagano won, but I cannot be mad that Pagano won because you got to think how happy Rob and Bry were when he won. Just how great of a guy Pagano is. So it was awesome to see him win. Plus Rossi won it before, so I think as long as you have one, you're good.
You know what?
Rowdy, you pulled a Graham Rahal Texas 2016. You celebrated way too early.
When I lived through way too many Indy 500s that I said to myself, you know what? Do not celebrate until he is like inches from crossing the finish line. Because I was quiet as a mouse until then. Because I knew when Rossi passed him, I said he's got a couple of chances. And then when he passed him, I said, okay, Rossi's probably going to get him back. And we came off before, then me and Brian just started falling.
Ugh.
Oh, I wanted to bring this up before we moved on. How about the Indy Lights race, the Freedom 100? Oh my God, that race
That was
awesome.
fucking great.
That was awesome.
That race was so underrated throughout the whole month of May. That was a great race. Ask you one.
That was
Fortunately,
awesome.
I could not watch that race, but thanks to the great commentary by Orca Flop and Rowdy Smoke for Team while I was walking in my school hallways. Hey, after looking at the footage of it, that shit was good. Really good.
The Freedom 100 always prevails, though. It's always a good race. I don't know how.
I never get to watch it because I don't have cable. Those broadcasting bastards.
I was going to say, you two called in sick on carb day. I'm proud of you.
Dude, I got home from exams at 11:30, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's carb day!" And so I turned around, I was like, "Oh, the Freedom 100, perfect."
Well, I woke up Friday morning and I thought, okay, today at school we have senior awards, which is a 3-hour-long ceremony that everyone's forced to attend where they just call out the names of random people you don't even know to get awards. And I said to my mom, I thought, oh, today's carb day. So I said, at you, I think I feel sick. And I ended up,
Attaboy. That's how you're supposed to do it.
yeah. So I'm not regretting that decision at all. Totally worth it.
I'm glad I got home from exams early, so I could watch the Freedom 100. First time I ever got to watch it live too. So that was
Everybody
nice.
calls in sick on carb day. That's a tradition. Nobody in Indianapolis is working on carb day. Everybody's at the track.
God, I want to move to Indiana so bad. One little side topic regarding the Indy 500 before we go back to talking about F1 and then go to NASCAR. How about the balloons going off? Balloons blow? How did that go for you?
Hose man. Hose man. Hose man.
Oh, balloons blow! You tried way too hard to stop tradition, but you can't do that in racing. It's just how it works. Sorry.
What do you even think it's going to do? Do they think the birds are going to eat the balloons? Because no offense, but if a bird's stupid enough to eat a balloon, then it kind of deserves to die. I mean,
Okay, wait.
That is
Okay,
exactly what Kevin said.
I forgot. What was the whole controversy with the fucking balloon?
Rob, Kevin and I were like angry texting each other about it too. We were both just constantly texting each other how pissed off we were with the balloons blow shit. So we kept texting each other, and then Kevin sent me a text. He's like, "Oh, this is our new mascot. It's gonna be the flying turtle. He's a flying ace." And it was a picture of this turtle with like 5 balloons on it, and he's flying. It was hilarious. Oh my god, I don't get it, man. It's like environmentalists like that don't understand racing. Like,
They really don't.
it's kind of like when PETA went to the Kentucky Derby because they wanted to see if they were beating the horses. It's like, really? Come on now.
whoever's working over there has to be really, really bored because they're just sitting at their desk thinking, man, what can I fuck up today?
I mean, in the end, IndyCar wins because the balloons went off. Plus, balloons blow had to block literally every IndyCar fan in the book. So, Rob, I think they blocked, or Kevin told me they blocked him. Noah told me they blocked him. I got blocked from balloons blow, and then like so many other fans got blocked.
I don't know if Brian got blocked, but yeah, he chimed in on that balloons blow thing, and he was having a ball with it. Because like him and Kevin were giggling in the car. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? And he goes, we're messing with balloons blow. I'm like, God, Jesus Christ. All I can say is that the balloons blow account, balloons aren't the only thing they blow.
We talked about Asa Akira.
You be
Rob,
nice.
you're a tree hugger.
You be nice.
Can't do anything about a tree hugger.
You be nice.
They probably think paper is a way of death.
Holy shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if balloons blow doesn't like paper.
My God.
Save the trees.
I was so happy when they let out those balloons, and Jim Cornelison, if you didn't know, by the way, he's the national anthem singer for the Chicago Blackhawks. So I caught on to that name real fast locally. But hearing him sing Back Home Again, Indiana, and with the balloons going off, I was like, fuck you, balloons blow. And your environmentalist ass. You ain't getting anywhere.
That was a big middle finger. That was a big middle finger, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't get people like that, though. Oh, it's harming the environment. How about we start a new tradition? Oh, you can't.
No, screw off.
Tradition
Screw
is tradition. You can't change it. You really can't. So.
Yeah, you really can't. It's like, I don't know. So what? NASCAR talk now, I guess.
All I can say is
did we get all our full thoughts on the way on F1 or no?
I think we did. We
I
already.
mean, me and Spidey, we gave our thoughts on F1. Rowdy, what did you think of the F1 of Monaco Grand Prix?
Well, the biggest takeaway from this race, I guess you could say, is Red Bull's kind of closed the gap between their team and Mercedes. But at the end of the day, what do you expect? It's Monaco. Lewis Hamilton got the pole. He's been the dominant driver all season. And hey, Mercedes didn't get 1-2 this time. That's a positive, but they were both still on podium.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big surprise, but it was nice to see that we actually had a good fairly battle. I definitely think this race was above average for Monaco standards, so that was good to see. And maybe one day Red Bull and Ferrari can get something together and maybe decide to win a race once this season.
Red Bull's going to win before Ferrari this year. I guarantee it. I think Verstappen's going to win one race before Ferrari gets one. I guarantee it. The way Ferrari's been communicating at this point, I genuinely think that Red Bull is better than Ferrari right now. They're the second best team. Ferrari, I think, went down to third.
I really want them to fire their team boss. He's such a
He's a fucking moron. He puts Leclerc in this terrible qualifying issue where Leclerc has to start all the way back in 15th, and yet Leclerc has to fight for his life to get back up to the front. And what do you know? He gets too aggressive and causes a puncture. And I thought the qualifying mistake with Leclerc was on his fault. No. The executive for Ferrari told him, I don't remember because I didn't get to watch qualifying, but he told him to do something, and it didn't work, and it just cost Leclerc spots. So,
yeah.
Ridiculous.
Also, by the way, he looks retarded, too. I mean, yeah. It's going to be like 2014 where Ferrari doesn't win a race. Everyone's like, what the hell? A Ferrari doesn't win. Like a Ferrari. Oh my god, I'm talking like Mario characters now.
Oh, and another thing I want to point out, I don't know if you got it. Rob probably knows, but Simon Pagenaud is the new points leader for IndyCar. He's got a 1-point advantage over Newgarden now.
Oh, yeah, I saw it this morning. And I had a big old grin on my face after that.
I did
Correct
see
me if
that.
I'm wrong, but he won his first title in 2016, correct?
Yes, sir. And we his teammate Power to do so. And ever since then, fighting to get the championship material back, it looks like, for now at least, he's back to championship material, but he just got to keep it up all throughout the summer because, let me tell you, we got some tough courses coming up. We got, of course, Detroit coming up next week. Then we got some ovals like Texas and Iowa. Pocono is always a tough race. But Pagenaud seems to excel on the super speedways now, so hopefully that will aid him a little bit. But the thing that kind of needs to get going is that road course program, and they need to keep it up because that Grand Prix win was definitely not a fluke. They just need to keep up with that road course program, and they'll be good.
I think definitely Simon Pagenaud is now the new championship favorite for IndyCar, in my opinion, because you look, he won the road course race, and you know, he's seemed to struggle there throughout races before then, and then Indy, he just puts on a whooping. So if he's got the road course and oval tracks figured out, and now he has a points lead, granted it is 1 point, but he does have the points lead regardless. So you just hold off Newgarden and Rossi. I feel like Rossi's going to make a strong charge throughout the summer. He won one race earlier this season. I'm sorry I forgot, but I feel like entering the final race this season, your three guys are going to be Pagenaud, Newgarden, and Rossi, all with the shot at the title entering the final race.
My neck.
Oh,
Well,
Maybe
guys,
even
unfortunately,
throw
I have to
Dixon
go.
in there
I
too.
gotta study for finals. I gotta study for finals tomorrow, so unfortunately, I have to make an early exit.
No, fuck that.
Unfortunately, I gotta go, but I'll give my quick predictions real quick. For Pocono, I'm predicting Kevin Harvick to win.
Yes!
IMSA GTD, I'm going with Trent Hinman and the number 86 Acura. GTL, I'm going with the 911 Porsche of Patrick P. Tandy.
Quick question.
DPI, I'm going to go with the number 31 Wheeling Cadillac with Pippo Durrami and Felipe Nasser. And then for IndyCar Detroit, I think Ray Hall is going to win both races. I'm going out on a limb on that since he's been so good at Detroit.
Those
are just my predictions.
Hey, when's the IMSA? What time is the IMSA race, or what day is it?
I believe it's on Saturday. I think after the first race. But
All right. That
yeah.
sounds good.
Thanks for letting me on again. And I
Guys,
hate
if
to make an early exit like this, but unfortunately, school's a bitch. So I gotta go.
Yeah, because we all know
See you
that
guys.
what you're learning tomorrow.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks,
See you,
man.
man.
All I can say
you.
for Pocono is if you see a guy in the pit side stands with a nice camera with a red Winston hat, don't even question who that is. That's me.
I'd be like, Rob.
Well, here's the thing about the Winston hat was I went to Gearheads over in Clearmont. Gearheads is a diecast store that is literally on the track property of IRP, which is now known as Lucas Oil Raceway. So I'm walking the store and I noticed this old red hat, and I'm like, huh, what is this? And on the hat, it said Winston Cup, NASCAR Winston Cup Series, 100% racing, no bull. And it was $4. And I said, Brian, this is a nice old hat for me to wear at the NASCAR races. So let me tell you, that bright neon Pageant hat at IndyCar races can be spotted from a friggin' mile. Anybody can spot me with that hat on.
Yeah. Menard's colors for you.
It is. But with that red Winston hat on, it's like, oh, there's Rob taking photos down there again.
Always stand out from the crowd, don't you?
That's my nature, dude.
My nature.
Man, I hope Orca's right in predicting Harvick to win Pocono, but realistically, I really think you gotta look at the Penske cars, just the sheer amount of speed that they've shown at the intermediate tracks. And Joe Gibbs has been fast as well, but I just don't see Truex being able to carry the momentum because we've seen that he struggled a lot at the big track at Auto Club early this season, which in my opinion is the most similar to Pocono. Kyle Busch is going to be
It
fast,
is.
but I just don't see him winning this race because it seems
I'll
like
say-
Kyle Busch either goes on a streak where he wins. Well, last season was kind of an exception because in 2017 he won all of his races in the second half of the season. 2016 he won all of his races in the first half. So I feel like Kyle Busch is kind of the driver to get on a hot streak, but then be consistent. And then it seems like all of his wins seem to come together in one half of the season or
Yeah.
the other. And unfortunately, I think he might get all of his wins out of the way this season within the first half. Stuart Haas, they're going to run top 10, but I don't see them being a contender to win as usual. Harvick's going to have a good car, but not good enough to win. Just been the story of the season.
Yeah.
Hamlin hasn't won a Pocono since 2010. So
They haven't. He hasn't won there since they repaved it, right?
yeah, and NBC's pointed that out a lot. So
Yeah.
pre-race favorite, I gotta go with Keselowski to get his fourth career win at Pocono. I know he hasn't won there since 2011, I believe, but Penske cars are going to be fast, going to be hard to beat, and even with this package, clean air is going to matter so much at Pocono. And
I'm actually going back to the whole thing, like Pocono almost being like Auto Club. And actually, here's a fun fact. I mean, and it's probably, it's the obvious. Pocono is the hardest track to spot at because there's a big old American flag, where they come out of the tunnel turn and shit like that. And also, like, and also with Fontana, it's actually kind of the same thing. It's kind of hard to spot when you exiting out of the turn, but I'm actually kind of going on a limb here, but I really don't think the Darrow package is going to be good for Pocono. And also for Michigan, because, looking at Fontana, which unfortunately I've been to that race, which, I had a good time there, but just the race was terrible, though. It was really, really terrible. I kind of feel like that for Pocono, it's probably going to be maybe, like, as it says, as it's kind of been almost all season, the Kyle Busch show. But he's the only guy that has been good on those type of tracks, other than maybe Logano or Keselowski. Like you said that Keselowski could possibly win Pocono. But yeah, just these next two races, I'm not really gonna be looking forward to the most. I'm really not. Pocono and Michigan. Those are going to be two tracks that it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. And then we also got Sonoma, which I'm excited for that one. I don't think I'm going to go to that race, but I mean, whatever.
I mean, they'll be running the full course, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's actually something that I had forgot about.
Well, here's the thing about Pocono. The big cheeses in NASCAR do not realize this with this aero package. Pocono is a off the throttle corner exit type of racetrack. If you go into turn 3, the ideal of turn 3 is to get the best corner exit as you possibly can. And what do you need off corner exit off of turn 3? You need to put that thing in full throttle and go. When that thing is starving for power, then you're going to lead to problems where people cannot pass down that straightaway. People cannot get a good draft effect. People cannot get the power underneath them to go wherever they want to. And it could lead to a couple of problems.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm not a technical guy. Believe me, I know much about cars, as my own car knows how to turn itself on. But I think when you go tracks like Pocono, you need a good engine underneath you. And when you increase the horsepower, that's just not good news with the engineers.
Yeah. I feel like you're right because it's going to be hard. Like you said, Pocono, the track about corner exit, and these cars you're going to have to put the throttle down so much earlier exiting the corner than the other guy to be able to get a run on him. It's going to make passing very difficult, and I think 95% of the passes that are going to be made under green flag conditions are probably going to be on the front straightaway, but the cars probably won't be able to get side by side until they're already to the entry of turn 1. I just think Pocono with the modern Gen 6 cars, no matter what aero package you put on, it's just going to be a tough nut to crack to get good racing out of it. What do you think, Ultimate Speedway? How do you think this race is going to go?
I honestly think it's going to be like Pocono, normally like where it's a little parade under this package.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Larson's going to win it.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm not saying
he just won a World of He won a World of Outlaws race, and then he won the All-Star race. That's just gonna give him some confidence coming into this race.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not. Yeah, so Pocono, it's just one of those tracks that you're not looking really forward to, and shit. So I mean, yeah, I won't be. I mean, I'll say this. I think that when you're gonna, in terms of Pocono, I think it could be almost like the Xfinity race from last year. Whenever they tried out the Indy package, with restrictor plate and high downforce, and we remembered that race sucked. So I think it's gonna be almost like a variant of that. But maybe you'll have. But the only thing that's gonna be better is probably the restarts. But I mean, yeah, just Pocono, man.
Pocono's just Pocono. I mean, with the Cup cars, anyways, and like you said, Spotty, we've seen this in the Xfinity Series last year with the aero package similar to this, and the cars were just single file the entire race because whenever a driver pulled out of line, it was either have a slight chance to make one pass or fall and lose 5 positions because they were just bumper to bumper, it seemed like. So the thing that keeps me coming back to Pocono as a biased Kevin Harvick fan is the fact that he's never won at that track. So every time I'm like, come on, he's got to win there eventually, though, man, right?
Same. Also, okay, there's 2 tracks he hasn't won on yet. There's Kentucky and Pocono, right?
Yes.
And actually, I was actually gonna think that he was gonna, I honestly thought last year that Harvick was gonna, he was gonna win Pocono and Kentucky. So both of those jobs. So now Kyle Busch is not the only one who has won on every racetrack.
Yeah, he definitely had the dominant car in the second Pocono race last year, but I believe he made contact with Eric Almirola on pit road with within 20 laps to go, I think, and that done him in. They had to come back in the second time to repair the damage. So.
Oh yeah. Quick question: did we even talk about the World 600 at all?
A little bit.
I mean, we
Yeah,
kind of
let's definitely talk about it. I'd like to know more about the race because majority of the problem is with the race this year. It started at 1 o'clock, so by the time I got home, the 600 was the race started. By the time we ate and we showered, the race was already almost 3/4 of the way over with already.
yeah, pretty much. It's like it's like after the Indy 500 wraps up, it like then like 3 or 2 hours later, Coke 600 starts. I mean,
You
for
know,
sorry.
oh no, you go ahead.
Like, so for like a racing fan like home, it's like, okay, this is usually what I do when the Indy 500 and then the Coke 600 usually starts. Last year, I watched the Indy 500. Then I went to sleep. I woke up. The Coke 600 was on. That's usually just what I do. Or did I do that last year, or was I talking to my friend? I don't know.
But you see what I'm getting here. The race just could have started at noon or 11 a.m. like it used to. This way I would have gotten home and the race would have started. But that, of course, didn't happen. So the more info I get, the better. But I will say this about Pocono. There's one thing that, as a biased person here, I got to say about this package. With the cars going potentially slower, with the cars being more bulkier than Indy cars, I'm going to have a lot easier time photo shooting this weekend, boys.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sit back and relax.
Some real kick-ass images might be coming up on my Instagram in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, so you're heading off to Pocono?
I'll be there on Saturday and Sunday. I'm planning to go Saturday morning for the qualifications. I'm going to get one crisp image of each car on pit road. That's my plan. And on Sunday, I'm sitting over the pit side grandstands because there's no catch fence blocking you. You can stand in the middle of the front row, and I'm going to stand there with my camera, and I'm just going to be photo shooting the whole friggin' time.
Yeah.
People have spotted me in the grandstands photo shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've seen you do that before.
I'll be there again
Yeah.
this Sunday.
Yeah, and yeah. So I mean, for all of us who watch the World 600 or the Coke 600, I mean, just kind of tell them what happened in the race. I mean, I'm not so sure if you watched this race. I mean, you watched the 2005 Coke 600, right?
Oh Lord.
For
Right,
me?
Rob?
Oh, of
Yeah,
course I did. I remember. Oh my God! Oh, don't get me started. How I wanted Bobby Labonte to win that race.
Oh, dude,
bad.
same here. I want Bobby to win that race so bad. I say this, I was 2 years old at the time, but now looking back on it, I'm like, I want Bobby to win. It was just so sad because you got to think Bobby, that was his last real shot to win a race. Because after 2005, he went to Richard Petty, and then his career went downhill from there. So that would have been Bobby's last career win, but instead it was Homestead 2003. And plus, it would have been awesome to see him get that win because Jason Leffler failed to qualify for that race. And then, so Interstate Batteries gave up their sponsorship and wrapped the 18 car with the FedEx colors. So that would have also been cool to see.
Yeah, isn't that the first time that the 18 ran with like FedEx colors?
The 18 ran FedEx sponsorship in the Nationwide Series from like 2008 to 2012, I believe.
Yeah. So basically, take the 2005 Coke 600 and then you put it here. There were so many freaking cautions.
Well, that race was so action-packed. That's the thing I most remember was I just so wanted Bobby to win that because I was rooting for him, and then he lost it with. Oh my God, how many cars was it by?
I remember when I watched that race, I was like, okay, basically throughout those final few laps, I wasn't even so sure Jimmy was gonna get past. He's gonna get past around Bobby Labonte, but then, I was like, what the fuck, like WTF moment. I'm like, what? Then Jimmy won that race. I mean, I'm fine with Jimmy winning. But whatever. I also think that was a race where Junior wrecked.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
He took out Kansas and Waltrip in the process.
Yeah. So so really for the 2019 Coke 600, overall, I thought it was a pretty, it was a pretty good race.
I heard a lot of things about the race.
Well, hello.
say
turn
it.
of events. Things changed at the last second.
What happened? Did you eat your homework?
Orca the whale
No,
has
I had
returned.
to study a couple of things since I already did prior, and I realized I didn't have to study that much, so I figured I'd come back up.
Just write the answers on your arm. It's okay.
No, write the answers on your leg, and if the teacher says, "Pull, let me see your leg," you can sue them for sexual harassment.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
About the Hook 600.
Oh, sweet.
And how it relates to the 2005 race.
Because
Except there wasn't a good finish between Bobby Labonte and Jimmy Johnson. It's only the difference.
yeah.
Or Bobby should have won, but oh well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was something kind of similar for that. I mean, well,
There
even
were
though it was
so
on
many
the
times Bobby
backstretch.
should have won a Coke 600.
I mean, even though it was done on the backstretch, that 4-wide move.
So, recap what happened here. Like, because I keep in mind, like, I was in the IMS parking lot and Steak and Shake, and in the shower for most of the race. So, what all went down in this race? I heard a lot of good things about it.
Well, in terms of like events, I mean, well, most of the Toyotas had blown up their tires. I mean, Eric Jones. Like, there were so many like tire failures, and it was just ridiculous. You know, like Eric Jones blew up, Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, and actually, Mark Truex Jr. hit the wall early on in the race, and I thought his race was maybe done. But I mean, yeah, what else? I mean, Danny Hamlin also hit the wall, and by the end of the race, his whole car was destroyed. But I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, like, one of the key things that I found in this race was that, I mean, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, you know, they obviously had speed, but William Byron in the first half of the race was doing a pretty good job. He was the pole sitter, and throughout the first half of the race, he was doing very, very well. And also, Brad Keselowski was doing well, and actually, same thing like Indianapolis, a Penske car goes out and dominates kind of the first half of the race, you know, and stuff. And I guess you could say, I mean, Keselowski won the first two segments. And also the whole thing about, you know, them stopping the race to honor the fallen heroes. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't that bad, but I mean, well, I mean, I'll just say enough about that, you know, stuff. And Alex Bowman was showing his muscles, you know, in this race as well, which, I mean, like, I really wanted that kid to do pretty well in this race, you know. But then, I mean, then we get, you know, obviously the stage, like, 3 and stuff like that. I don't know. One of the big events that sort of happened in that stage was Mark Truex Jr. was the leader in that, was basically the leader at the time. And he, I mean, like, it's not intentionally, but he did turn the 52 into the wall, and that put out a caution. A lot of people got mad. I mean, like, it's not like the 52 was going to do anything throughout the whole entire race. It's most likely going to DNF with an engine failure. Even though the paint scheme, okay, for all the Rick Ware racing cars, they all look pretty cool. They all had this military, like this aircraft kind of, like, they look like airplanes for, like, the military, which looked pretty cool. And stuff like that. Truex won, you know, then won that stage. And then throughout the final stage, I remember one thing for sure. Chase Elliott was leading, and if I knew if he could hold it off, if he could outrun Truex somehow, then he could win this race. But Truex got around him. It was fair. I mean, it was a good battle for the lead about to happen and stuff. And then the tables have turned when, like, around 11 or 10 to go, Keselowski then, you know, blows the tire. And while Ryan Blaney, man, when's this guy ever gonna win a race? I mean, does he really have to depend on an exciting Roval finish? But I mean, so basically, Ryan Blaney was also having, like, issues, like, I think a loose wheel or something. But basically, he dropped like a rock. I mean, like, he was, I mean, and also he was third in the race. He was third at the time, and that was pretty, you know, sad. So then we obviously have the pit stops, the 38 and the 6. They stayed out, and I knew this was going to be a very, very crazy restart, and it was. We go down the back straightaway. There's a 4 wide battle for the lead. Truex prevails out of all of the Fords, and then from there, Martin Truex Jr. wins the Coca-Cola 600, and he beats Joey Logano once again. Wow, what a
You
day.
just did your whole race review for Rob right there. You literally just did your whole race review for him.
Basically, I mean, yeah, and even for all the stuff that happened in the race, I thought it was a pretty good race. I mean, like in terms of the Coke 600, I mean, this is kind of the best one I've seen maybe in a while. I mean, if my memory is correct. I mean, last year was terrible, but for Rowdy, it was a good show for him. I know that. I know. But I mean, what in the hell was that?
Who's playing back home again, or back home again, Indiana? Rob, was that you? It was!
Oh no!
Oh, what the hell?
Back home again, Indiana got better. I think Rob sent that to Indiana, guys.
But can we really blame him though?
Yeah.
I'm actually going for a month this
Rob
Friday.
just texted me. He said, "Lesson learned: don't edit photos and stream at the same time." Lol.
Oh shit.
Overall, I thought the Coke 600 was an above-average race. Is more than what I expected going in. Now, granted, it did have its moments. And one thing I don't like this package. I mean, this is just me personally, so don't take it with a grain of salt. But it's just been so frustrating. I don't know why. Just to try to watch drivers make passes this season. And my main problem with this package is that while yes, passes can be made, it's not terribly difficult like it was last season. It just takes so long to set up a pass. I get it's part of racing, but now it just seems like the only way if you want to make a pass within 1 or 2 corners is to send it. And that's one of my big issues with the package. But another thing I want to bring up and controversy. How do you feel about what Truex did to the 53 in stage 3?
What happened? What happened?
He met the 52, but still the Rick Rat racing car.
It was a 53.
Rowdy, we're not talking about this.
What's your opinion on this, Orca? I'm curious to know. How do you feel?
Okay, fine. I didn't want to have to talk about this, but I guess I do. Did Truex make a wrong move in bringing out the caution by purposely wrecking a slow post fat fuck? Yes. He did. It was his fault that he wrecked Bailey Curry. He clearly came up, and he could have held his line in the bottom. Yes, and yes. I don't want to hear it. I was annoyed as fuck when people were spamming me. Oh, your favorite driver just wrecked the lap car. You're like PK. Cool.
It's
Yes,
retarded.
I don't think he did it from. He might have done it. Fuck.
Hey, it's okay. Matt Kenseth did it in the fall Richmond race last year. If Matt Kenseth did, it's okay.
Yeah, he took out Earnhardt.
I've never had this feeling of Truex really doing something controversial much. He's never been that type of driver. But I think it was wrong of him to wreck Bailey Curry on purpose if it was the intent he was going for. I don't think that's cool. And I'm not going to hold Truex against it, though, because what did it really do in the long run? We had
He
several
didn't do
cautions
anything,
after.
honestly.
It didn't really do much, so. But for Truex to wreck a small team like that, that's kind of messed up, in my opinion. But I still love Truex, and that's not going to change. But was he in the wrong in that sense? Absolutely, I agree. But
All right.
I just hated. I was getting harassed after the race as well. Like, I tweeted about how happy I was that Truex won. And then people said, "Oh, that son of a bitch wrecked the lap car, you fucking faggot." I'm like, oh. And I was
Welcome
like,
to
oh,
Twitter.
I wonder why I don't like talking about NASCAR on social media.
Yeah. I mean, I already said this in my like race recap. Basically, I mean, one thing I know for sure, Truex didn't. I don't really think Truex had any. Like, I don't think he wanted to wreck the 52. But then again, I mean, did it change the race? Now, if that was like wrecking like a big team like Logano or I don't know someone else, it probably could have changed the race pretty big. But hey, that 52, it was gonna go many laps down, anyways. So I mean, yeah, I mean, but hey, if that was what Chase Elliott did, a lot of people would say it's okay, it's okay. It's for everyone. It's for Truex. It's for Truex.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
holy
See,
shit, you better
Truex
watch
got
out.
crucified because of that. But
Remember-
when Chase Elliott does it, oh, it's okay, Chase. Get him next time.
When Chase did it at Bristol, nobody cared.
I'm really confused. Yeah, when Chase wrecks a lap car at Bristol, nobody cares. But when Truex wrecks Bailey Curry, everyone hates him.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, this is the way it goes. So basically, half of the fan base likes Chase Elliott, because it's Chase Elliott. Okay. And then for Martin Truex Jr., it's some guy who won a legitimate championship to them. So I mean, yeah, and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah. Plus, he's one of them Team Toyotas, supposedly.
I hate when people say that.
yeah. It's always the rednecks that really don't understand racing.
Die hard WWE addict.
Yep. In my
Yo,
honest,
I remember how much the Toyota hate pissed me off in 2017. I think it was when the Toyota hate started coming out, where I was like, do NASCAR fans actually understand the meaning of racing? And I guess I was right. Boy, this is really silent.
well,
How
my
much have
honest
we touched
opinion
on
on
the Cookbook 600, though?
we just Spotty gave his race recap, and then Rob's died. But my honest opinion on what the Truex deal, like, I don't feel like he went into 1 and 2 with the intention of, oh, I'm gonna wreck this guy. I think he got underneath him and started getting tight, and then by the time he got there, he thought, well, to hell with it. I don't think he was thinking, well, I'm gonna wreck this guy when I get to him. I think it was that split-second decision of, you know what, I'm just gonna keep my foot in it right here. I don't think he went into the corner with the intention of wrecking him, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's cool for him to just take out a small team like that, because that car was destroyed after the wreck. But I'm biased, and I have to say I'm glad he did it, because that allowed Logano to not win the race. So congratulations to Truex on his second Coca-Cola 600 win, and congratulations to Penske for not winning.
Yeah, I also give a shout out to Tyler Reddick for winning the Xfinity race.
Oh yeah, Tyler Reddick.
He only won because nobody showed up.
Excuse
the
me,
hell?
sir. What do you mean nobody showed up?
What was that? Kyle, what was that?
I mean, Bell died because of something out of his control, so yeah, that wasn't cool. Then Custer I don't know if it was more so he got a bad restart or Brandon Jones just abandoned him and jumped down to his inside, but he died on the last restart.
Okay. Now this is something else that I haven't really talked about, but I don't know why, but I feel like I should. I really want to stop Okay, I really want to stop watching Xfinity at this point, man. It's kind of boring for me. I have no idea why. I just don't have the intentions of watching a NASCAR race on a Saturday. I mean, for a truck race, I'm all for it. But for an Xfinity race, I think really for me, it's just because the competition has gone down so much. Like a lot of teams, shut down, and stuff like that. We're the only competitive teams in Xfinity. There's Joe Gibbs, Xfinity team. There's Junior Motorsports. There's Stuart Haas. Give me also GMS. College Racing is competitive, but that's about it. All the other cars are just about as soon as one of those low budget teams start the race, they're immediately in the garage. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen the 66 go into the garage at Fontana and coming back out again. I mean, I don't know, just Xfinity is kind of losing interest for me. Plus also the leeches as well, so I mean.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the call. I'm getting sleepy. So good night. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
I mean, I'm happy Truex won the second Coke 600. I was hyped about it, and I'm really happy he won over Logano too. That felt really good. I gave the Coke 600 an 8 out of 10. It was definitely one of the better Coke 600s I've watched. And I think what we saw was what this aero package was meant to do, was to make the racing closer. But I think over the course of long runs, the race got progressively more boring. But the restarts kept me engaged with the race, and it was awesome to see my boy Truex get his second Coke 600 win. So the race gets the same rating as Monaco for me, an 8 out of 10. Solidly, and of the 3 races this weekend, I think that 500 was the best weekend, or best race of this weekend.
I would have to agree there. The best race for me by far was the Indy 500. Second, Coke 600, Monaco third. I feel like pretty much every Sunday before Labor Day, this is how it goes, the ranking from best to worst race. But yeah, at least Monaco wasn't bad. That's a first.
Yeah, Monaco wasn't unbearable. Like it has been.
Yeah, I'd have to rate. Okay, Monaco goes. I mean, that's like that's like the low. That's like I would put that as like the third best race of the out of all 3. That's the third best. I mean, at least it wasn't bad, but I mean, a lot of us really do wish it could. A lot of us really wish that other teams can challenge. But I mean, yeah. And then second, it's the Coke 600. I mean, it was good. It wasn't boring. We didn't have to sit for 5 hours of I don't know, the 18 car just dominating the race.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I know you would. And also, number 1 race has to be the Indy 500. That's the best race. Don't ask me why. You dumbasses who think NASCAR is prestigious, get out of here.
Yeah, none of them.
I mean,
bad.
NASCAR is the only thing NASCAR's got right now that's working for them, that's prestigious, is the Daytona 500.
That's
but
about
even
it.
still, though, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Indy 500 are way ahead of it in terms of prestige. So that'll never change.
NRF, no one gives a shit about St. Louis's hockey team.
Well, any last thoughts before we can go ahead and wrap up the live stream? Because I think we covered everything.
Yeah, we covered the 500.
I'm about to pass out.
We about covered everything.
Yeah, I think we've covered
I don't
everything.
have much to say about the Coke 600. It was kind of I don't know, it was better. Like I said, it was better. I was happy Truex won. And quite a bit of wrecks as well as that race. But other than that, I don't really have any thoughts on the Coke 600.
Also,
it was a good race, though.
I'll say one thing. Shout out to Kyle Trussity's boyfriend, Tyler Reddick, for winning at Charlotte.
Oh, fuck.
I'm gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that.
He wins one more race, I'm killing myself.
You still gotta go to
joke.
Chi-Town. You still gotta go to Chicagoland.
Yeah, sure.
The Chicagoland Xfinity race.
I don't know if I can go to the Xfinity race. I'm going to the Cup race, though.
Yeah.
Go to the Xfinity race and watch Reddick win.
No.
for like a beer can.
Oh yeah, I'd be if you see a fan jump over the catch fence and punch him, that's me.
Okay, Spider-Man.
I'll punch him right in his fucking nipples. Anyway.
Spider-Man.
You should go meet Reddick. You should go meet Reddick and tell him who you are
Here's-
on Twitter.
I
Here's
don't
how
have
it
any
go.
burger fries near me, so that's the problem.
Here's how it goes. Spider-Man, climbing fences because he can. What does he do? He punches an Irish bub in the face. Here comes the Pooper Man.
Well, I think it's time to move. Well, I already gave my predictions for the IndyCar Grand Prix at Detroit. I've got Ray Hall winning both races. For IMSA, I've got the NSX of number 86 of Trent Hinman winning Detroit. Then I got the 911 Porsche for GTLM with Nick Tandy and Patrick Pile. And then for the DPI class, I got the number 31 Wheeling Cadillac of Pippo Durrani and Felipe Nasser winning in the DPI class. LMP2, no one gives a shit. So
Yeah.
those are my instant predictions. As for NASCAR, like I said, Kevin Harvick. It's pretty straightforward. So
Yeah.
who wants to make theirs next?
I mean, okay, if the Xfinity race is terrible, then I'm just gonna be watching the IndyCar race, which is on. Is it on the same? Is it on the same? It's on
I
the
think
same time.
Infinity is on at the same time as the IMSA race, and I think we know what I'm gonna watch.
Yeah. So
Your boyfriend win.
I really don't have any IndyCar or IMSA predictions. I just want to watch them. I just want to watch those races and just enjoy it. So yeet.
Rowdy, what about you?
Well, IMSA, just whatever you said, you seem to be a pretty knowledgeable guy about that. So if I just pick the same thing you did, I don't look that stupid, right? So whatever you said for IMSA and IndyCar, Simon Pagenaud.
Pagenaud's been on a hot streak, so yeah.
Pagenaud's going to make it 3 in a row. Xfinity, oh man. How can you go against Christopher Bell especially it seems like the bigger tracks this season? Christopher Bell at Pocono, and then as we know for Cup, we all know who I want to say so badly, but it seems like every time I pick them this year, oh boy, you know what?
Well, I mean, I go with Kevin Harvick because Harvick's had some of the most consistent runs at Pocono these past few years. So I think now will be the time Harvick will shine.
That would be awesome to see, but just because I've been picking them so much, I think it's time for me to pick someone different. I'm going to go with what DC Comics Racing said earlier. Alex Bowman, who showed a lot of speed. You have to remember, he finished top 5 in the summer Pocono race last year. And then in the spring Pocono race, he finished top 10. And plus, he's coming off this hot streak where, I don't know what he finished, I believe, 6th place in the Coke 600, then the 3 seconds place finish before that. So we could see, same thing as Ryan Blaney, a driver get the first career win, the spring Pocono race. And I swear to God, Harvick's going to finish 2nd, and that's the end of me.
Yeah, I just feel strong about Harvick. He's been so good at Pocono lately. I just think he'll be able to execute this time.
I think.
Rowdy, would you like to cue the main podcast outro song this time?
Sure, but Ultimate, you were saying something there. What would you do your final thought?
I think for Cup it's gonna be Larson, like I said, and then for IndyCar, I think Bourdais and Pagenaud are gonna win.
That would be interesting.
And then
for Cup, I think Larson, but
I mean, like he won a race. I forgot what it was.
it wasn't
Yesterday,
Pocono.
I want to say.
He's never won a Pocono. Well, he won an Xfinity race.
He won
Pocono, but
Xfinity.
Egypt.
Hold on, he just won a race
Larson's never
recently,
really
and then he won the Open.
Pocono.
He won the World of Outlaws, and then the Open or the
he
All-Star
won
race, which I think is gonna give him.
Now you're on the dirt. Okay, we're gonna save that for once the stream goes offline. So you want me to do the main outro song now?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. There's the outro song, everybody.
It's fairly quiet.
I'm trying, man. This is the last my phone goes.
Oh my god. That was loud.
It was so quiet, and then when the bass dropped, it just blew the speakers out. Okay, with that, I think that's the perfect note to end on. See you guys next week. A quick reminder, don't forget to turn into the Xbox and PS4 League races this weekend. Xbox is Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and PS4 is Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all next week.